The most dangerous places to live in Westeros, ranked. Welcome to Westeros, a land full of kings, castles, and death. While some places, like the Reach, offer safety and prosperity, others are a living nightmare, where survival is a daily battle. If you were unlucky enough to be born in Westeros, where would be the absolute worst place to live? Today, I'm going to dive into the most dangerous, deadly, and downright miserable locations in Westeros. From lawless islands to frozen wastelands, I'm going to break down why these places are so lethal and how long you'd actually survive there. Let's begin. The Westerlands. There's bandits and brutality. Now, you might be surprised to see the Westerlands on this list. After all, it is home to the ultra rich Lannisters. But step outside of Lannisport or Casterly Rock, and the lawlessness begins. The hills and mountains are full of outlaws, bandits, and rebel groups. The Brotherhood without banners once caused chaos here, and during the War of the Five Kings, the countryside was raided and burned repeatedly. Even worse, if you're a commoner, you're at the mercy of the nobility, who are infamous for their ruthlessness. Would you survive here? Maybe if you kept your head down and never traveled alone. Next, we have the Iron Islands, which is harsh, wet, and very war torn. If you love cold, rain, starvation, and getting thrown off a ship, this is the place for you. The Ironborn live by the motto, "We do not sow," which basically means they prefer to steal, raid, and kill rather than farm or trade. That makes these islands a miserable place to live, especially if you're not a warrior or a fighter. On top of that, the islands are rocky, infertile, and constantly battered by storms. Even the nobility live in castles like Pike, which are quite literally falling into the sea. Survival chances? Pretty low unless you're a hardened reaver who loves drowning rituals. Next, we have the stepstones. The stepstones might sound exotic, but in reality, there's a lawless, pirate infested death trap. These islands, located between Westeros and Essos, have been ruled by slavers, warlords, and criminals for centuries. If you end up here, there are only two options: become a pirate or become a victim. Slavery is rampant, brutal raids happen constantly, and different factions fight for control, meaning there's never peace. Would you survive here? Only if you had a ship and a cutthroat crew. Harrenhal. Harrenhal is the largest castle in Westeros, as you may know, and also the most cursed. Built by Harren the Black, it was burned by Aegon's dragons and has since been a graveyard for every family who has ruled it. The curse is real. Every lord of Harrenhal dies mysteriously or meets a horrific fate. The castle itself is too big to maintain, full of ghosts, and located in the middle of the Riverlands, which is constantly ravaged by war. You have a better survival rate than the Stepstones, but not by a whole lot. Next, we have Beyond the Wall. And if you hate warmth, food, and civilization, then you'll love it beyond the wall. This is a place where only the strongest can survive, because everything here wants to kill you: the cold, the wildlife, and even the people. The wildlings are in constant battle with the elements, and if you're not one of them, they won't hesitate to kill you. Plus, let's not forget that White Walkers wiped out entire villages here. Survival chances are very, very small unless you're as tough as the legend, Tormund Giantsbane. Next, we have Duskendale. Duskendale was once a prosperous town until Lord Denys Darkland kidnapped King Aerys II. The Mad King retaliated by massacring the entire ruling family, burning the city and leaving it a ruined, haunted mess. Since then, Duskendale has been a backwater full of crime and corruption. It's unsafe, abandoned by the crown, and cursed by its history. You wouldn't want to live there. Next, we have Stannis' Dragonstone. Dragonstone is an isolated volcanic island with harsh weather, rocky cliffs, and an active volcano beneath it. While it looks pretty epic, it's kind of a miserable place to live. It's cold, damp, and constantly battered by storms. And under Stannis Baratheon, it became a prison of fanaticism, executions, and starvation. Even before that, its history is full of wars, rebellion, and dragon-related disasters. You could survive there if you worshipped the Fire Lords. Next, we have the Shadowlands of Asshai. Now, this isn't Westeros, but if you somehow ended up in Asshai, you'd be one of the most cursed places in the world. The Shadowlands are filled with dark magic, toxic rivers, and people who don't even eat food. The land itself is poisoned, the sky is black, and it's said that even dragons fear it. Would you survive there? What are the chances? Almost none, unless you're a Shadowbinder. Next, we have King's Landing. The capital of Westeros is also one of the most dangerous places. Sure, it is home to royalty, but it's also full of crime, riots, disease, and executions. Flea Bottom is a disease ridden hellhole where people literally boil rats for soup. The streets are packed with spies, assassins, and criminals, and every war sees the city burned or sacked. Would you survive? Not if you're poor. And finally, we have the Dreadfort, which is House Bolton's House of Horrors. The worst place of all, in my opinion, is the Dreadfort. Home to House Bolton, the castle is famous for flaying its enemies alive. If you're a prisoner here, you won't survive, and you'll meet worse ends than death. Even its soldiers are terrifying sadists, and Ramsay Bolton's reign made it even worse. Survival chances? If you end up here, you're dead. So, which place do you think is the most dangerous? Let me know what you think in the comments. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching.